have a migraine, like, obvious, or not. I mean, if I have sunglasses on inside, that's because I have a migraine, not because I'm super fucking cool. I mean, I am super fucking cool, but I don't wear, like, that's not the reason that I wear sunglasses inside. But anyways, I was thinking, like, or also to not get a migraine would be the other reason that I wear sunglasses inside, like around fluorescent lights, because I'm sensory sensitive and I do get chronic migraines, like, strong smells, bright lights, like loud or like weird noises, like irritating noises, like it depends on the pitch and the tone, like sometimes like a blown out speaker that I have to like listen to for a long period of time can really can trigger a migraine for me. I used to work in a grocery store, and I actually worked there before my autism diagnosis and before like I grappled with all my trauma, and then also after my autism diagnosis, self-diagnosis. I do have a a medical ADHD diagnosis, and I did diagnose myself with autism, and I am definitely autistic, and if you want to fight me about that, you can. I don't care. I'm not going to engage with you. But like accepting that I am neurodivergent, and it could be like autism and ADHD and CPTSD. They do have a lot of overlap, and I am a really like sensitive, traumatized person, and you can like, and also like the DSM can suck my dick, so I don't really care. But like the autism diagnosis for me personally was very liberating and freeing and validating, and it helped me really tend to my needs in a way that I would not have been able to like conceptualize had I not had the like, oh no, I'm like this is hard for me, like I'm not wired the same, and I'm just like, I was just in pain all the time, and I thought that's what life was, but everything hurt, like emotionally and like sensory overloady, and like the way that I was, pushing myself and expecting myself to, show up, all of that was really hard and like painful. But I was just really used to being in pain, and I thought that just like, if I can pretend that I'm not in pain, that's the same thing as not being in pain, right? Like that's that's what I thought, because that's what I was taught to think, by my caregivers, and society and my community. It was like that's the messaging that I got in my home as a child, and from my caregivers, and then from society at large. It doesn't really matter if you are in pain or not. What matters is if you present like you're in pain or not, and that's what made me a really good chef, honestly, or like a really good like abused person in a kitchen or whatever. But because like most kitchens, and especially like the time period where I was working in kitchens, like those are like just like little abuse pits, and that's like so many story times for another time, my chef career or whatever. But I am a really hard worker, and like that is like before my diagnosis and after diagnosis. I think I might even be more of a hard worker now, and more like definitely more productive. Like I make more, like stuff's just always kind of happening, growing, sprouting, but because I know how to attend to my particular garden and my particular nervous system, and how to center my like, if I think of your body as a computer, system, an operating system, and my for me, realizing that I wasn't okay, made it a lot easier for me to make this changes necessary to my operating system for me to operate at a higher level. And I think like collectively we need to admit that we're not okay so that we can onboard some new technology. Because right now we're just pretending that we're okay, like, and thinking that that means that we're okay, but that's not. That doesn't, no, baby, you're hurting, you know, like, it's not supposed to hurt to live. You don't have to sacrifice your ethics, your dignity, your sense of self, your life force, your autonomy, your will, your body, you know, your safety. You're not supposed to have to sacrifice those things just to exist. And I know that capitalism, that this society says that it like you know, we're all like, yes, of course, human rights, the concept of human rights, yes, of course, human rights, but we're not. But that's about as far as we take it. And that's the thing about colonialism, is a concept can you know, we can talk about a concept and say that we understand it, but we don't without showing proof of our understanding of that, you know. And so we can't trust this society to tell us if we're okay or not, because what would this society know? You know, we have to admit for ourselves that we're not okay so that we can come up with solutions for our individual operating systems, so that we can operate at a higher level of compassion and care for ourselves and other people. And yeah, I have you know, when I say like care is not a burden, I say that all the time. And you know, a lot of time, or I have heard in response to that, or seen people say, you know, no, care is a burden, but it's a burden that we do with like, it's a burden that we take on, and because we like to take it on, or because, you know, because it's the rewards of the burden of care are greater than the burden of care, you know, greater, you know, like it yes, it sucks, but you do it anyway. And the thing about that is that's not care's fault, and that's not care. That, like, a task can be burdensome, yes. And in capitalism, whiteness ideology, and patriarchy, you know, in a world driven by colonialism, the tasks of care suck pretty bad for a multitude of reasons. But that's tasks. That's not care, okay? Care is not a burden. Care is evolutionary technology. Tasks are burdensome sometimes. And you know what makes tasks less burdensome? When you have more people to help you with them. Get it? Okay. All right. Bye.